Coordinator and Director Administration, Srimati Divya Parma, to present sapling to the Chief Guest. As is the tradition in line with the Institute's motto, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, which means lead me from darkness to light, I request all the dignitaries on the dais to light the ceremonial lamp.
Sri E.S.L. Narasimhan, who has truly been a great friend, philosopher and guide to the people of both the states, particularly the civil servants working here. His words of advice and wisdom are always valued, not only at the head of the state, but as a former civil servant belonging to 1968 batch of IPS. With a distinguished public service spread over 5 decades, I am sure the young officer trainees who are at the threshold of their careers would cherish forever the inaugural address to be delivered by him today. They are indeed fortunate that the oath of office will be administered to them by the Honorable Governor. On behalf of the Institute and on my personal behalf, I extend a very warm welcome to the Honorable Governor. Today, we're indeed proud to be hosting the largest ever batch of the foundation course for the All India Services and the Central Civil Services officers. Since the foundation course started in MCRHRD over a decade ago. In fact, I recently, when I called on the Honorable Governor with probationers, IAS probationers of Telangana cadre, he was fondly remembering the training that he underwent in Mount Abu as an IPS probationer. So it shows the importance that attaches to training itself and the values that are enshrined in the foundation course, which all of you are going to undergo now. In this context, it's pertinent to note that 324 officer trainees attending the 93rd foundation course here are drawn from 20 different services who belong to as many as 26 states of India with different educational and socio-economic backgrounds. The group includes 103 from IPS, 61 from IRS, both IT and customs, 56 from Indian Forest Service, 28 from Indian Statistical Service, 23 from different branches of railway services, 15 from Indian Economic Services, and other services. While on the one hand, it offers a daunting challenge to impart training to such a diverse group, drawn from different perspective, this plurality actually represents the real strength of the civil service. It also symbolizes the fundamental ethos of Indian culture and its polity that is based on unity in diversity. During the next 15 weeks, the officer trainees would get an opportunity to forge esprit de corps among themselves and to share with each other their experiences in their respective lives so far. Our focus during the training would be to inculcate the basic tenets of administration and fundamental values of integrity and empathy that are most important for a public servant. I welcome each of the officer trainees attending the FC and do hope that they will cherish pleasant memories of the stay here. I would like to end by quoting the prayer from Upanishad, which is already quoted by the compere, which is incorporated in our institute's logo, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, lead me from darkness to light. May that be the guiding principle for the young trainees starting their journey as public servants. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our Honorable Governor for the State of Telangana, Sri E.S.L. Narasimhan Garu, to administer the oath to the officer trainees of 93rd Foundation course.
I do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to India and to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will carry out duties of my office loyally, honestly, and with impartiality. So help me God. Thank you.
It is my immense pleasure to request Honorable Governor of State of Telangana to release course manual of 93rd Foundation members. I would like to request our Director General to release digital version of course material.
I would like to congratulate every one of you for having got into the service. I know it's a great effort, but of course if people like me could have qualified, you'll laugh and say how could it be a great effort. I quite appreciate that. But that used to be in those years, it was much easier, but these days the competition is pretty tough. So I think you are much, much brighter than what we were. And I in fact belong to the last century. I don't even belong to the century. And you belong to the 21st century, I belong to the 20th century. There's a century gap between you and me. Though there's very precious little that I can really tell you about. But all the same, sometimes the office that you occupy gives you these advantages. You'll realize it by and by as you enter into service. Like what you go through is an occupational hazard. What we go through is an occupational benefit by sitting in chairs like this. And that's how I am here before you today. So you will pardon me. I am not wishing you a good afternoon because later on you might say what is so good about this afternoon. So I would rather not wish you a good afternoon. That's why I thought I'd rather welcome you into the service rather than say good afternoon to you. But I'll certainly say welcome to Hyderabad. It's a great city. You're going to be here for a longish time and please enjoy the city. Forget about your training. You will anyway get trained. Don't bother about that. You will get to learn all this. You will fall, get to rise, you will learn. All of us have learned it like that. Training provides you a basic thing. In fact, I will venture to suggest to Mr. Acharya that along with the logo that you have of Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, you should really say Asatoma Sadgamaya. Actually, it is from ignorance to knowledge. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are drawn from different parts of the country and different services. It's fun to be in the academy together. And this is the time when you really have to strike the real friendships. It may not be too many people, because you'll always have the batch fraternity wherever you go, whichever service you go. One of the biggest advantages of the All India service is that you have a batch fraternity. Wherever you go, you'll identify yourself as saying you belong to so-and-so batch. But there will be some friendships that you will really make in the academy. So I would suggest that make the best use of your time to strike those best friendships. It might be 3, 4, 5, but good enough. But these will be friends on whom you can bank upon throughout your service, on whose shoulders you can cry whenever you want to. This will particularly apply to the police probationers because you will have a lot to cry. So you better strike some friendships. Otherwise you will be left all by yourself crying, all weeping by yourself. Of course, the academy is an excellent place now. The NPA is a beautiful surrounding, closer to Hyderabad, much more luxurious surroundings, and you will enjoy your training. I'll just put forth a few home truths that I have seen, in the little that I have seen. All of you, when you enter the service, think that you are acquiring some power. It is not power. Actually, your job is really going to be governance. Whatever service you may belong to, you are going to do a certain amount of governance. And what it really means is accountability to a large extent. This is not just enjoying the powers of office, but a great measure of accountability. Because today's society is much more transparent than what it used to be. So your accountability becomes very, very high. And when you are doing a job, it's not that you are working in isolation. You're not going to work in a forest. Though you may be a member of the forest service, and you may sometimes be in forest. Very rarely are you in the forest, I know that. I mean, you'll probably be, first few times you'll go for a good ride in the forest, see some animals, and that's it. After that, the officers go to the forest. There's that poor beatman who is without even a lathi, who's left to defend himself against tigers and lions in the forest. All the same, you have to take into account people, society, politics, ethics, economics, logistics, organization, administration, and information, amongst many other factors. So that means you are putting in a whole lot of factors are going to come in
before you take a call, before you decide and how you are going to govern. So it is not just that you go by the rule book and say, yes, this is the rule, rule 54/C/5, and you give an order. No. You have to take all these factors into account. Many of these factors, I mean, not all of them, but many of them will come at various times. So I think you will have to do all this. And also be sensitive to what has happened in the past, what is the present, what are the possibilities of the future. So you really have to look at yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It is, I told, every decision of yours is going to be scrutinized by the people, by society, by the consumers. So you have to think of not just today. Yesterday, what happened in similar situation today, and what is going to be the implication for the future. So this thing is going to be a much wider canvas on which you are going to think of. Today, some of the challenges that you are going to face is food security, health security, energy security, environment security, economic security, so many other things. So it is not just, if you say a policeman is not just a lathi wielding policeman who is doing law and order. You are today, every member of every service, all India service, is a partner in the development of the country. You are partners in development. So you are no longer just doing one bit of job. Even if you are forest service officer, you are looking at the environment. You are looking to see how you can prevent killing of animals, how you can prevent, sort of protect the environment by trees and various other things. So every service has a certain component of development which is attached to it. So you are going to really be partners in development. And when you are doing all this, you must also be aware of the limitations, the constraints. It is not that you have unlimited resources. You have limited resources, be it land, be it water, be it energy, be it food, whatever item you are talking about in which you are going to be made accountable, you are going to work within a certain slice of bread that is going to be available to you. It is not that it is available in a large quantity that you can keep on spilling it all. So that is where it will come in. Then you have this great technology which has now come in. Everybody talks of technology. What exactly is this technology all about? Use technology as a facilitator. I mean, the whole problem is today, in today's world, technology has become a substitute rather than a facilitator. My advice to all of you is use technology in a very big way, but use it as an add-on. Use it as a facilitator, not as a substitute for human brain. In fact, even on the artificial intelligence, which is now the order of the day, which is a fashion statement of the day, I don't still know the entire cantos of the information of the artificial intelligence. But my own thing is, when I had gone to other day to inaugurate some program on artificial intelligence, I was told that you just go before a screen and ask questions and the screen will answer you. You just say, what's your name, the screen will answer you, what is this, etc. it will answer. So I said, at this stage, India will provide a whole lot of brain-dead people by the age of 40. We'll have no people, because the brains are not going to work. It's all going to be automatic by machines. And that is not the purpose of technology. Because now, for example, even in schools you see, the iPad has been introduced. I mean, there's no longer use for the brain, from where memory was our strong point. The Indian heritage is built on memory. The Vedas, the Upanishads, whatever you talk is built on memory. But today there is no use for memory. It's all there on the machine. You press your button. For example, many of us now don't even remember telephone numbers. My own telephone number today, unfortunately, I can't remember. I'll have to look at the telephone, and if my ADC is not typed it out properly, I'll probably give a wrong number. Of course, it'll be happy that nobody will contact me. That's a different thing. But it happens. And there was a stage when I could remember any lot of numbers, but that was my profession. From that stage, I myself have come to a stage where if you ask me for my own telephone number, I'll have to refer to my telephone. So please don't become slaves of technology. Technology, yes. I'm not anti-technology. Technology certainly yes, but as an aid, as an add-on, as a facilitator, not as a substitute for your human brain and thinking. Ultimately, whatever you might do, you have to do the analysis, that is a human analysis. Machines can't do it. The other day somebody was telling me, I don't know how true it was, at the Davos meeting, where they had gone for a whole lot of people and questions, answers, speeches, everything was being made. Very well-decked person, looking like a lady, was done up. And ultimately found it was an artificial intelligence. Ultimately they were shocked when they were told that it is a machine which is answering all your questions, not the human beings. So please don't take recourse to this. While technology is good, but within limitations. The other thing is, you have the social media. Today, social media is a very powerful tool in the hands of many people. Within minutes, it spreads. And I, for one, feel that anything which is not accountable should not be allowed in society. Social media is unaccountable to anybody. And it's a sort of abuse of power. I mean, suddenly you will find the other day, for example, when I had a message on my application saying that Tirumala temple is flooded and the Lord is being evacuated. I was wondering, how can the Lord be evacuated? Because the Lord is very heavy there, you can't evacuate. But it floods all over the place. This right, it's coming into the main sanctum sanctorum. So I promptly rang up the EO of the temple, because as you know, so help me God, that is the only way out. So I rang up the EO and asked him, "Kya ho raha hai?" He said, "Kya ho raha hai?" I said, "Pani aaya wahan, डूब रहे हो तुम लोग." He said, "Darshan ho raha hai yahan to." What do you do? I mean, this sort of fear and panic which comes in by such false use of social media. I think social media's responsibility will have to be fixed, and I think we need to devise a way by which the so-called activists of social media are made accountable for the type of messages that they are putting on their machines. I don't know what system is going to work, but I think this, it must be called, because before that, if it does not happen, I'm afraid society is going to get destroyed. One fine morning you will have somebody saying that atomic power plant is leaking. And you imagine the panic that it will spread in this country, in the world. Because they are irresponsible. Social media people are absolutely irresponsible. Then of course you have the RTI, the wonderful institution of RTI, which is an extremely useful institution, a very useful platform which was devised by Aruna Roy in those days when she found that the fruits of development are not reaching the people for whom they are intended, as what we call the last mile connectivity. So she started this thing of mobilizing villages, going before the collectorate and saying, look, here according to the budget you have so much of money, you are supposed to lay out so much of roads, but these roads are not available, please explain. That's how RTI started. RTI really started for societal use, for societal benefit. But today, of course, not that I'm anti-RTI, I know you fellows, you people will probably go and say the government is anti-RTI. I'm not. Today, RTI has become almost a tool of blackmail. I think it is time that we revisit the RTI and put it provisions where anybody who asks this question, like in the case of public interest litigation, must be an interested party, and if it's a false accusation, I think he should be punishable. Unless we are able to do this, revisit our RTI, because it's worked over a long period now that we have found the defects in the system, we have to note it. I'll tell you a simple example. When I was in Bastar, I had gone to Bastar on one of my fun visits, and as usual, so help me God, I also believe in that. So I went to the temple in Bilaspur, then took the helicopter on to Bastar, and I came back and an RT application on my table saying, was temple visit part of the governor's program? B, whom did he meet there? C, what did he discuss? My fellows, you know, governor के खिलाफ आ गया तो नाराज दिखाना पड़ेगा, कम से कम नाराज हो गए नहीं हो गए. At least you have to show that you like this, and boss gets very happy. देखो मेरा insult कर रहा है, इसको कितना नाराज है. So I was very happy in the first. Sir, ये कैसा पूछ रहा है? We did not answer on this. I said, no, we will answer on this. I said it was part of my program. Visit to the temple was part of my program. I met Lord Balaji there. I pleaded to him, please give good sense to petitioners like you. I sent back the reply. I did send the reply. I'm telling you. And the question comes saying that in the Rajbhavan, the party that you hosted, was it only vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Knowing full that I'm a non-vegetarian, vegetarian. And how many people attended? What was the menu served? How much did it cost you? How the hell does it bother you? Or suddenly you say, please give us the list of visitors over the last 25 years. Unless you want to go upstairs and check up. I mean, this sort of question, this is becoming a tool of blackmail. If you don't get a promotion, you will start hitting this thing. I mean, any one of us can be liable to RTI. Today, they can say the governor wasted half an hour of his time addressing the poor officers and making them go through suffering. Imagine the damage that must have caused to the probationers, their time, and the damage on their systems. And then you compute, somebody will sit down and compute and say, sir, 1 man hour would have equal to half an hour, their salary is so much of effort they are put in community service. Pura calculation, sir, I think easily it will amount to about 10,000 rupees per probationer. So he says, the governor has caused a loss of so-and-so to the exchequer, please account for it. And what is this RTI? I think it is time that we revisit the RTI. RTI is a very useful tool as long as it is used only for societal development, not for fun, not for blackmail. It is today become a tool of blackmail in the hands of a few. It is almost like a mafia. I'm sorry to say that. I've been saying it everywhere, and I say it again. It is now in the hands of a mafia. Then comes your human rights, because human rights exist only for the human rights activists, not for you and me, not for the poor, not for the ordinary man. You see, if there's an incident in Taj, human rights will come, battery, I mean, torchlight positions will come, candlelight positions will come, no light positions will come, dark positions, all the positions will be taken out if it is Taj. If the same thing is going to happen in Sarojini Nagar market in Delhi, nobody will bother about it. Paper mein aayega, 10 log mar gaye. This is your human rights. And these human rights activists will say, oh, how is it the police were so ill-equipped, intelligence failure, all that, etc., etc. And when it comes to election, none of them will vote. They will all be sitting at home and sipping their whiskey. That's all that happens. So this human rights activist again is a bogey. I mean, yes, human rights means human rights for every human being. It cannot be human rights only for the activists. In Chhattisgarh, we used to have many of these incidents happening. In one case where about 30 of my policemen were killed when they were in the camp. And so the human rights activists came to me, all the great activists. I heard them very patiently. I said, yes, you are very right. We have only detained one person, and he has also been sent to judicial custody. Nothing has been done to him. But I said, when 35 of the policemen were killed while they were sleeping in their camp, please give me where were you all hiding? You did not have a tear to sort of shed. What are you people talking of human rights today? What human rights are you talking about? Is the human rights only for the anti-nationals, or is it also for all human beings? So this is going to be one challenge that all of you are going to be faced with. If a cat is killed in the forest, every fellow will come and say, hey, forest service ko abolish karna hai, kya hai, billi mar gaya hai, kuch nahi kar raha hai, baitha hai, all this come. And fellows will be poaching tigers. Nothing will happen there. There will be no human rights activists will. But one billi mar gaya, to somebody says, nahi, billi ko nahi marna hai. बिल्ली रास्ते में जाएगा तो अशुभ माना जाता है, इसलिए इस बिल्ली को पकड़ के रखना पड़े. All the stories they will give you. This is what you will face. This is the reality of society. You will be criticized at every stage of your career. And then we'll all say that auditability. What is the auditability of public service? I think we must be auditable. We must be accountable. We must be auditable. I mean this because funds that are given to you in trust. And how you spend them, whom does it reach, and does it reach the last mile? I think that is where your responsibility comes. Unfortunately, what happens is, all of us are busy all the time. From morning to evening, we are busy. Morning, आप किसी ऑफिसर को फ़ोन करो, 7 बजे सर एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं साहब. उसके बाद साहब पूजा कर रहे हैं. उसके बाद साहब नाश्ता खा रहे हैं. उसके बाद साहब ऑफिस गए हैं, मीटिंग में है. फिर दोपहर साहब लंच पर आए हैं. उसके बाद साहब आराम कर रहे हैं. फिर शाम को साहब टहलने गए हैं. Well, the hell is the साहब available for me? This is the reality. Please, I am telling you this because of real experience. This is what the services are being criticized for. This is what when you say trust deficit, this is another term which all of us use in fashion statement. Whenever you go to a party, if you have nothing to talk, you can say, "यार, trust deficit." But then शुरू हो जाएगा. Everybody is ऐसा है, government ऐसा है, ये लोग ऐसे हैं, all this tamasha will start. But what is this trust deficit? This trust deficit is when people find when they are in real problems, you are not available for them. You see, when a man comes to you, when he does not come to you for a cup of tea, he does not come here to share your samosas. He comes there because he has a problem, and we don't have that time. So what he does, when he comes there, 99% he knows that you are not going to do anything to him. You are not going to help him out. But you only have to meet him and tell him, "ठीक हो जाएगा." You will see this smile on his face. He thinks, "मेरा सारा भार उतार दिया मैंने साहब के कंधे पर." That is the joy that the man gets because he has a problem. You have to have this sense of empathy. So what are we all blamed for? Lack of empathy. Our normal slogan is, लोग तो कहते रहेंगे, लोगों का काम कहना है, छोड़ो बीते बातें चलने दो, sort of thing. You sing that and go off. So that is a problem. It is not so. You go to a police station to register a complaint. That way, यहाँ नहीं वो jurisdiction वहाँ है. It will be only 10 yards, but it's वहाँ जाइए आप. That fellow has lost his entire property here, and he's coming crying for his property, and you are just directing him to the point of just doing something for him. So this empathy, I think, becomes very expected. People's expectations have rose a lot. Today people are educated. Education means their expectations have gone up. As a result, we are not able to fulfill the expectations. Their expectations are so high, fulfillment is low. So it is sort of a battle between high expectations and no fulfillment. That is another problem that all of you are going to be faced with. Transparency, as I told you, transparency is an issue which you will have to really take into account. There is no, your life, secrecy of your life is over from today. Let me tell you. जो भी होता है, घर में होता है, कहाँ भी होता है, the whole world is talking about it in 5 minutes. Like the other day I was told, we used to have an officer working in the Raj Bhavan. He recently was transferred out, he had moved out. Then somebody came and said, "Sir, we lost our biggest source." I said, "Kya hua hai?" He said, "Sir," he was one who was in charge of the household. He said, "Morning normally, sir, you would see him almost around 7:30 in your house. And he will judge your mood. And बाहर जाके बोलेगा, साहब आज बहुत नाराज़ है." So he was our barometer of your moods. So we have now lost him. So then I realized that this is how it is. You step out of your room, there's an orderly sitting there saying, "Namaskar, sir." That namaskar is just to see whether you respond or you don't respond. And always learn to respond to people who greet you. There's another important thing that many of us fail. We don't respond. We think, ठीक है, it's my right. Nothing is your right. तुम्हारा कुछ हक नहीं बनता है. लेट मी मेक इट वेरी क्लियर, तुम्हारा कोई हक नहीं बनता है ज़िंदगी में। हक उस इंसान का बनता है जो आपके पास आता है। आपको सुनने का जो है उसका हक है, मगर आप सुनवाई नहीं देंगे क्योंकि आपको तो टाइम नहीं है, आप तो बड़े बिजी हैं। द अदर थिंग इज़ दैट टुडे देयर इज दिस थिंग ऑन सो कॉल्ड, आई थिंक व्हाट यू पीपल शुड लर्न एज प्रोफेशनल्स इज द आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग. You know what the art of living is? Learning to sleep with your eyes open. That's what you should do in such lengthy lectures that you'll go through, or meetings that you'll have to go through. Even in meetings, the collector might use a meeting, the DG might hold a meeting. You must learn how to sleep while keeping your eyes awake and ears open. But as long as you don't snore. You know, in one of the meetings that I had gone in Delhi, I was holding an unfortunate position. I had the misfortune of being seated in the front row. And the speaker was going on to the Prime Minister, was speaking. At one stage, I just closed my eye because I was feeling a little nappy, and I found some bright lights going on. I knew that I had been captured. And next day, instead of the Prime Minister's speech, it was my photo just dominating the front page. So I said, yeah, so thank you. Then we had, and luckily a couple of days later, again I had to meet all the press fellows. So I said, yeah, thank you very much for giving me that prominence. Because all these days nobody knew me, but at least now you brought me. So he said, so मैं आपको एक secret सिखा दूँ. आपको सोना है तो चश्मा पहन लीजिए आप. चश्मा पहन के आप सोएंगे तो आपको कोई फोटोग्राफर कैप्चर नहीं कर पाएगा. Anybody who enters the service like me will also go up to the end. चलेगा, अपने आप चल जाएगा. As long as he's not caught on some integrity or problem, he'll go up the scales. He'll end up somewhere in the top. He'll certainly get to a maximum 80,000 जो है, or 1,25,000 or 2,50,000. You'll end up. So don't make more money than is required. There's no need to make money because the government pays you extremely well there. You cannot sit on two chairs at one point of time, however much money you may earn. And what happens these days, after 30, नीचे नहीं बैठ पाओगे, नमक नहीं खाओगे, चीनी नहीं खाओगे, दारू नहीं पियोगे, कुछ नहीं करोगे, सिगरेट नहीं पियोगे, तो क्या करोगे पैसा रख के? Integrity should be of the highest order. I mean, that is the expectation of the people. People expect you as role models in society. You are role models of society. Remember that. You are role models. So please don't forget that fact that you have to do that. The other thing that your attention will be for on the rural areas. I think that's a much neglected area. We need to see how we can really look at that area and see how we can help them out of their distress and make their lives more comfortable. Because otherwise you will find rural people trying to migrate to the urban. वो सपनों का सौदा अगर हम सिखाएंगे और आके यहाँ you'll feel disappointed again, frustrated, and see how it can do. One thing that I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that basically the politicians are not bad. Unfortunately, Itla Rajan, the finance minister, was supposed to be here. He could not be present here because he's caught up. They are, you know, what one of the fellows told me once. He says, हम जब आते हैं मिनिस्टर बन जाते हैं, कुछ भी बन जाते हैं, we are very innocent. आप लोग हमको सिखाते हो कि कैसा करना, फाइल यहाँ से कहाँ, वहाँ से कहाँ से करना है. और एक बार सर we have tasted blood, then sir it gets into a system. So it is not, and there will be orders sometimes. Yes, politicians will give you some orders because they have their own segment to answer. So within the parameters of law, within the four principles of the Constitution, see how you can always take a positive attitude. Don't take a negative attitude. Positive power is more important than negative power. Power has two connotations. If somebody comes and asks you for leave, you can say no. That is also power. You can also say yes. That is also power. The yes is a positive power for which he will remain eternally grateful to you. I'll tell you my own story. When I joined the IB long ago, years back, I had a peon. He had some problem at one point of time. He wanted some money. He wanted some 500 rupees. I gave him 500 rupees. In those days, 500 rupees was more than my salary. My salary was 450 rupees minus house deduction, everything. You were left with 100 rupees a lot. And I and my wife were just newly married. So we had to sit in the veranda and watch the peacocks cooing there and say that was honeymoon. That's how it was. So it was lovely. But we went through all that life. So I gave him that 500 rupees. You will not believe. This was in 1972. Okay? 2006, when I became the DIB, 2005 when I became the DIB, one foreign they said, sir, so and so has come, Kim Bahadur has come to meet. I said, आने दो. तो मैंने हाँ भाई किम कैसे हो तुम, कैसे क्या बात है? जब pulled out a 500 rupee note, he said, sir, आपको याद होगा आपने मुझे दिया था ये जब मैं कष्ट में था. I had tears in my eyes. I said, don't be stupid. This is what power is. The exhibition of power, I'm giving this only as an example of what positive power is. You may think it is nothing. For you it is nothing. But for the peon, that leave for one day is very important for him. It's critical. And by just saying no, आसमान तो नीचे नहीं आ जाएगा भाई, संभाल लोगे, आप तो संभाल लो, आप तो अफसर हैं. Not as if, like the other day, somebody had come and said, sir, I want to go on leave. I don't know whether it will inconvenience you. I said, how many days do you want? He said, 5 days. I said, take 7 days. मुझे इतना तो freedom मुझे मिलेगा, then I'll work on my own. Please go. So कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. This whole thing that anybody is indispensable and the heavens will come down. Nothing. Heavens will not come down at all. Heavens will stay where it is, and earth will stay where it is, and you will stay where you are as long as you have your feet on the ground. Keep your feet on the ground. That's more important. Let not power consume you. This is another thing, a warning I want to give you, youngsters. Let not power consume you, because you are going to wield power. इतने लोग आपको आशीर्वाद देंगे, नहीं तो इतने लोग आपको कर्ज करेंगे. And the curse will fall, but Ashirwad will come right or not, I don't know, but his curse will come true. So try and please be good to people. They will bless you. I think their blessings are very important. More than all your hard work, all your competence, all your brilliance, I think the good wishes of your friends, blessings of people, I think is critical. And of course, it's far too early for me to suggest this, but I would still venture to suggest, as and when many of you, or most of you, or all of you will probably start a family, please give some time for your family. You are not wedded to the service. I know Acharya will differ from me. He said, no, the moment you join the service, you are wedded to the service of the nation. Nation is more important than individual. ये सब ठीक है, भाषण के लिए ठीक है सब. Ultimately, family is critical, and have something called family time. Maybe it will mean getting up early morning, maybe a late walk, but give something called a family time, but that will help you to beat many of your tensions. You may not discuss everything. You will not be able to discuss many of things. You will not be able to. In my entire life, I've had the misfortune of not being able to communicate to my spouse. I'm sorry, even today I don't communicate to her on my official work. But when I'm tense, she can say, you are tense. Your spouse will always find out when you're tense. So keep that family time for yourself. And as and when you have children, keep some time with the children. Because children must grow in the company of the parents. Don't leave them off. These are two small pieces of advice. I'm venturing to give you this advice. I think it's very important because all of us think that, कहाँ से time कहाँ मिलता है, 6 बजे निकलता हूँ, 10 बजे आता है, 6 बजे क्यों निकलता हो यार? दरवाज़ा भी निकलता है, चपरास भी नहीं आता, आप जाके झाड़ू पोछा थोड़ी करना है. Yeah, in those days, we all used to spend longer hours in office. So somebody asked me, ऐसे यार सुनो, तनख्वाह आता है 450, उसमें किराया सब जाता है, ऑफिस में एयर कंडीशनर है, आराम से एयर कंडीशनर लेके बैठते हैं हम लोग, ताकि घर में जाके सफ़र नहीं करता हो, फैन पंखा डालना तो छोटा डालना पड़ेगा, करंट ना हो तो यहाँ एयर कंडीशनर में बैठे हैं, चाय मिल जाता है और खाने को कुछ मिल जाता है, ऑफिस में बैठे रहते हैं, और अगर विंटर का मौसम हो तो हीटर रह जाता है. सो इट इज़ लाइक दैट. So this whole concept of मैं 6 बजे से 10 बजे तक काम करता हूँ, you must have to do time management is very important in your careers. You have to manage your time. You must find time for yourself. You must have a private time. You must have a family time. You must have a personal time. You cannot say that, no, I just can't find. I don't accept that at all. I just don't accept it. You have to find time. And that's the only way of beating your tensions. Otherwise, your tensions will build up and, well, your health is going to go for a 6. Don't allow your health to go for a 6. Maintain your health. That's very important, which means your habits have to be clean. Please maintain habit. Like once somebody told me, a party we had some this thing, so somebody was saying something. कहता है नरसिम्हन सुनो, अब आपके पास आके बोला यार स्टिकली बिटवीन यू मी एंड द पिलर, उसके बाद जाके बोला बिटवीन पिलर यू एंड मी बोलेगा, कल सवेरे उसको पूछो बोला क्या बोला है. सो ये दारू वारू मत पीना प्लीज़. इफ एनी वन ऑफ यू डूइंग इट प्लीज़ कीप इट अंडर लिमिट्स एंड डोंट ओवरडू इट, बिकॉज यू कैनॉट अफोर्ड सच लग्जरीज इन लाइफ. And it's not good for your health. Health is very, very important. Exercising, walks, gym. Of course, now I'm sure all of you must be going to the gym and yoga and doga and all this thing you must be doing, quite plenty of that. But please maintain your health. That's very, very critical. Because unless you're able to have a healthy this thing, you will not be able to function properly. I think I said a lot of things. Of course, I had a lot more to say. But I know Acharya had warned me saying, sir, आप ज़्यादा मत बोले, हम लोगों को भी बोलना है बाद में 6 weeks चलाना है, तो आप हम भी बोल लेंगे कुछ. Like somebody gave me this thing. अमंत्रम अक्षरम नास्ति, नास्ति मूलम औषधम अनौषधम, अयोग्य पुरुषो मास्ति, योजक तत्र दुर्लभः. That is, there is no syllable that cannot be used in a spell. There is no root that is not medicinal. There is no person so useless like me. It is the user that is scarce. So there is no use of saying सब बेकार है. पता नहीं कि like one of my colleagues asked some fellow, किस गधे ने तुमको recruit किया? After a long time after we had worked together, so he turned, Sir, aap hi ne recruit kiya. So this is the whole trouble. We always say a useless team, bekar hai, sab useless. I'm the only fellow who works. Unless the team works, you cannot play one-man football match. You have to have 11 players playing. कोई गोल कीप करेगा, कोई राइट फॉरवर्ड, राइट हाफ, लेफ्ट हाफ, कहीं ना कहीं कभी एक बॉल बाइक तो कम पाँव लगा लेगा. It will be useful. Don't think that you will run a solo enterprise. You cannot run a solo enterprise. Build a team, keep the team in healthy spirits. चिल्लाना तो चिल्लाओ. Yes, you must shout. I mean, if you keep saying हर दफ़ा उसको बोला चाय पिलाओ तो वो आप सर पर चढ़ जाएगा. That also I can warn you. Please don't do that. Treat men properly. Give them the due respect, but treat them well. And if you have to shout, you have to shout. In fact, I am known only for shouting. I mean, I know that as a governor also I am known for shouting. I know Acharya will tell you that. I am not a very good governor. I am a very bad governor, I will tell you. My tongue is sharp. My fuse is very short. But वो चलता है. I can afford to do it. So I say it, but you can't afford to do it. So don't do it. So because I don't say, paper में पढ़ोगे तो अरे governor कहता मैं करूँगा मत करो. Whatever I said, don't do it. I can afford to say it now because I'm extinguished. But you are still distinguished, so don't do it. I'm just giving you these warning signals. And ultimately, Santosha Paramo Labha, Satsangam Paramagati, Vichara Param Jnanam, Shamo Hi Paramam Sukham. Contentment is the highest gain, good company is the highest scores, inquiry the highest wisdom, and peace the highest enjoyment. Be at peace with yourself. Be contented in life. God has got you into service over millions of people who are not less fortunate than you are. Be contented. I mean, there is no end to ambition. Next year I want to go to IAS, next year I want to go to IFS, next year I want to go to ICS. So तब चलता रहेगा. So आता रहेगा. But be contented wherever you are. Be happy with what you are. But contentment is very important in life. If you don't have that contentment, ambition will go on endlessly. There is no end to your ambitions. Stay contented. All of you will do well. You have a great responsibility on your shoulders. Because the future of India is on your shoulders, not us. We are old. Our shoulders are all gone. Our eyes, it is slip disc, our shoulders are all gone. So you are the people who are going to carry this country. You have a great responsibility. You are all very bright young people who have come from very great institutions of learning, very highly competent, very highly capable. You have come through a very high course of competitive examination, and you will be given a lot of knowledge in this academy. It's a very brilliant institution. It has got a brilliant faculty. Serious talking. It's actually been chosen by the Government of India for one of the training establishments because of the curriculum that we have, because of the faculty that we have, because of the interest that is displayed by the faculty and by Acharya himself, who personally will be here. But above all, enjoy yourself. This is the age for enjoying. Make noise, make fun, have fun. Films dekho, ghumo, ghamo, bakwas karo, jokes maro. Don't be too serious all the time. World will remain where it is. World will remain round. Heavens will remain where it is. Eclipse will come. Eclipse will go. Sun will rise. Moon will rise. All sab hota jayega. So don't be very serious in life. Take things easy. Things will happen. Like one day, somebody said, the other day somebody was sitting, some new boss had taken over. As usual, gives a big talk now. And he said, make things happen. That's my motto. So one fellow got up and said, sir, the line sounds a little long. Do you think we should drop that make and say things happen? So that is what life is all about. Things happen. You are there just as an instrument. And God help me. That's it. That's the slogan that you have to keep. And all the very best and do very well. All the very, very best.
Last but not least, I request Course Director of 93rd Foundation Course, Shri P.K. Sharma Garu, to propose vote of thanks.
Chief Guest of the evening, our Governor, the Director General of the Academy, Course Director, and Dean of the Studies, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege and honor to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of the Institute on this occasion. First and foremost, I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to Shri E.S.L. Narasimhan, Honorable Governor of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, who despite his busy schedule, has taken time to grace this occasion and inaugurate the 93rd Foundation course for the All India Service Officers and Central Civil Service Officers, duly giving valuable insights and inputs to the officer trainees were all inspired by your work. I also express my sincere thanks to Shri B.P. Acharya, the Director General of the Institute, who has been the spirit behind organizing this function and carrying on the business of this institute for the past 2 years. We are thankful for his leadership, support, vision and commitment in organizing this inaugural function. I also wish to thank the Department of Personnel and Training and also the Labasana for reposing confidence in this institute for conducting this prestigious induction training program for the 10th year. I thank all the officer trainees who have come from different parts of this country and are going to participate in this inaugural ceremony as well as going to be with us for next 15 weeks. I, on behalf of the Academy, thank you all and assure you that you'll have a nice time, as rightly told by the Honorable Chief Guest, that you'll be learning with enjoyment. You will not be put to any kind of stress. And we expect that you will be going with happy memories of this institute when you leave the institute. So I thank one and all once again for making this opening ceremony a grand success. Thank you.